The Canal and River Trust is a charitable trust set up to manage the navigable waterways of England and Wales. Transfer of ownership from British Waterways took place on the 2nd of July 2012. Those navigable inland waterways currently managed by the Environment Agency were scheduled for transfer to the Trust in 2015, but this has been postponed indefinitely. History: the Canal and River Trust was born of the managerial and financial shortcomings of its predecessor, British Waterways, in the aftermath of the financial crisis of 2008, and was the flagship project of David Cameron's Big Society. British Waterways as a statutory corporation was regulated latterly by the 1995 British Waterways Act and financed by government. It came under the increasing scrutiny of a concerned government when its budget deficit hit £30 million in 2009, and British Waterways was tasked with producing a workable solution. BW began to look at devolving to a charitable trust, a concept which gained momentum when the 2010 budget announced its intention to demote British Waterways to a mutual organisation. In August 2009, BW was listed on a leaked list of quangos to be abolished. BW's future was confirmed in September. The board decided that a volunteering element would be desirable, a secure income stream essential, and an operating environment seen to be fit for purpose necessary. These goals were most likely to be achieved by reinvention as a charitable trust. Funds could be assured through grants, public donations, and an assured income from government. The waterways could be underwritten by a substantial property endowment, while volunteers and donors might be attracted towards a charity more than a quango. In October 2011, BW announced a name and logo for a charitable trust which would inherit its English and Welsh operations: the Canal and River Trust for England and England and Wales for Wales. Court received charitable status in April and received parliamentary approval in June. The change, originally set for the 1st of April 2012, was later delayed. In July 2012, all BW assets, liabilities and responsibilities in England and Wales were transferred to the Canal and River Trust, launched officially on the 12th of July 2012. Later that year, the Canal and River Trust merged with the England and Wales operations of the Waterways Trust, a charity previously affiliated to British Waterways, to avoid confusion and as both charities have similar aims. BWML, a private company limited by guarantee, is wholly owned by the Canal and River Trust and manages some 20 marinas dotted all over the region. It involves retail sales, moorings and services, and also acts as a shop front in the issue of short-term licenses. In Scotland, British Waterways continues to operate as a stand-alone public corporation under the trading name Scottish Canals. Structure: the trust is headed by a board of 10 trustees with a chairman, which is obliged to ensure that the charity meets its objectives and sets strategy for the trust. The trust has a 35-member council which referees the business of the trust and whose construction is supposed to ensure that all waterways users, in all areas, have a representative voice. Finally, a management board of 7 directors are collectively concerned with the ordinary running of the trust. Council: the Canal and River Trust has a governing council of 35 members. Members of the first council included a mix of nominated and elected individuals. Council advises on shaping policy, raising and debating issues, providing guidance, perspective and a sounding board for the trustees. Partnerships: for each of the Trust's 11 waterway areas there is a regional partnership drawn from local communities. In addition, an All-Wales partnership will consider issues relating to Welsh Waterways, and a separate partnership exists for the Trust's museums and attractions. Trustees. The trustees are legally responsible for ensuring that the Trust meets its charitable objectives. Trustees are the unpaid board directors of the Trust. They take collective decisions on policy and overarching strategy and provide oversight of the executive directors. Trustees are responsible for determining policy and strategy. Management. Executive directors manage the everyday operation of the Trust and develop policy and strategy for approval by the trustees' committees. The Trust is supported through a number of advisory committees covering a range of different areas from freight and navigation to volunteering and heritage. These groups will provide advice direct to the management of the Trust. The Trust's head office is in Milton Keynes. It also operates 11 local offices that deal with the general maintenance of the waterways in their area. These offices are based on the Waterways Partnership regions, which are Central Shires region, based at Paisley, Staffordshire; East Midlands region, based at Newark, Nottinghamshire; Kennet and Amp Avon region, based in Devizes, Wiltshire; London, Manchester and Pennine region, based in Stoke-on-Trent, Stalybridge, Greater Manchester and Huddersfield, West Yorkshire; North East region, based in Leeds; North Wales and Borders region, based at Northwich, Cheshire; North West region, based at Wigan, Greater Manchester and at Bradford, West Yorkshire; South East region, based at Milton Keynes and at Braunston, Northamptonshire; South Wales and Severn region, based in Gloucester; West Midlands region, based at Paisley and in Birmingham. Finance. The Trust receives a fixed grant from the Department for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs over the next 15 years. Its major other sources of income are from utilities and property rentals from a £500 million property endowment granted by government. It also receives an income from issuing licenses for boats using and mooring on the waterways and has been given a funding pledge by the People's Postcode Lottery over £1 million. Supporters and corporate partners. The Prince of Wales is the patron of the Canal and Amp River Trust, and Brian Blessed supports the Trust's volunteer appeal. In June 2012, the Trust announced 3 major corporate partners to support the Canal and Amp River Trust. Google partnered with the Canal and Amp River Trust to include the UK's towpaths on Google Maps. This includes highlighting access points, bridges, locks and tunnels. Once the project is complete, members of the public will have the ability to plan journeys that include canal and river towpaths as well as roads. The People's Postcode Lottery pledged to support the Canal and Amp River Trust with £1 million of funding. The charity lottery promised to support the restoration and conservation work of the Canal and Amp River Trust over the next decade through the Postcode Green Trust. The Cooperative Bank and the Canal and Amp River Trust work together to provide financial products that allow people to support the work of the Trust. Waterways operated. The Canal and Amp River Trust is the owner and navigation authority for over 2,000 miles of waterways. These are museums. The Canal and Amp River Trust operates several museums and visitor attractions that relate to canals and waterways. National Waterways Museum in Ellesmere Port is Cheshire. The Canal Museum in Stoke Bruern, Northamptonshire. Gloucester Waterways Museum, Gloucester, Gloucestershire. Anderton Boat Lift, Anderton, Cheshire. Standage Tunnel and Amp Visitor Centre in Marsden, West Yorkshire.